So something else that I was thinking about, guys, and y'all have to excuse me because now I am up braiding my hair and I can't stop because I'm so excited about having my hair braided up. But I'm gonna stop like in about 15 minutes and I'm just gonna finish it because I have a tendency once I get started on braiding my hair, I cannot stop. And I'll just keep braiding until I have like half of my head braided. And then like I'll stay up for hours and hours and hours doing that. And I slept a lot earlier. I took a really long nap earlier because I was waiting on my hair to get here because I don't know. I wanted a low maintenance style on it. And then also I'm wearing hair extensions. So I think it's gonna be cute when it's done. Um One thing moving forward, what I've noticed is that a lot of the words that either music or TV has taught us to describe other people as, in particular, certain races or genders. That lingo in those spells is very lowering. Okay. And so um I'm gonna start minding my communication that's coming from me. And then also how I communicate about others. um well, it's certain conversations that you're not going to catch me in, and it's certain energies and vibrations that I'm totally not going to be in. And there's certain types of people, like I think that it's okay sometimes, like every once in a while maybe to call a person out of their name, especially if they have done something to you personally. But for me to be sitting and having a conversation with somebody, and for me to think that it is okay and that it is empowering for me to call a person names like hoe or fag or bitch. You know what I'm saying? I feel like those words lower your worth, and they can also lower the worth on your channel, to be honest with you, because YouTube goes by an algorithm, and they can tell when when there's curse words or things like that. But for me, I've never even lived like certain lifestyles. I've always been pretty family oriented. And so I feel like conversations and words that don't relate to me, I just don't feel the need to get upset about it. I just don't feel the need to have certain conversations, especially as a woman. If you are trying to boss up, there's certain words that you shouldn't be saying about yourself or other women because you may be thinking, lower of self, which is not good at all. I think that frequency lowering words are being used way too much. And I don't choose to contribute to that, to the point where, and typically when people are saying that those types of words, they're usually upset. Now, if you can say those words and be very calm about it, but I still think that it's what's the word that I want to look for? I feel like it lowers your vibration. For example, being more politically correct and polite. Um, and polite conversation is knowing what words to use, like, so that you may not make people feel uncomfortable or even yourself. Hey, Zai. Girl, I don't have to face it, Zabel. I don't have to face it. I get my spirits to face that. I'll give you a hint. I created a fire demon. It's like a dragon. I created it that protects me. It's like a kickback. I'm actually going to start offering that, reversing something back to a person and, with like a oomph, like a kickback. Um, it's like a binding as far as when people try to send you bad energy. It's kind of that invincibility work. So I just recently have been doing invincibility work. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so freaking, like, as a woman, there's certain conversations that I don't want to ever be in the position to have about other women. And even if I am talking about their position, I don't want to talk like I come from the same exact place. You know what I'm saying? So the way you treat and regard others is how you feel about self. And there's certain conversations and certain energies that I don't even want to necessarily be involved with. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's going to be extremely pivotal in the spiritual boss up, because nobody really likes to, I don't know, like when I refer to other women, I usually refer to them as goddess or queen. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm referring to any woman in any way moving forward, I want to talk about women in a high regard. I want to talk about men in a high regard. I want to be focused more so on higher things, better things. I don't want to focus on, low lifed stuff, because you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only word I can think of it is what you know what I'm saying? Just, I know college professors and, people that are in very important positions, and, that kind of conversation is not necessarily what you want to talk about over the dinner table. And I just think that lower in tranquil spirits is really what causes that. And the dirtier you are, the dirtier your mentality is going to be. You know what I'm saying? And that's a very low place. I don't need to have a conversation about, you know, somebody that's not anything like me. So that's why, like, if you're going to have conversations about people, it's not necessarily the conversation, but the way that you have it. You know what I'm saying? Or your energy. That's just like if I have a conversation about anything, it's usually going to be about what my latest discovery was spiritually, Certain conversations, I just don't want to have them. You know what I'm saying? There's certain conversations you're not gonna catch me having with anybody. You know, just I'm trying to think of a way to say this. How can I think of a way to say this? When being a woman can be particularly difficult because, women are, society tries to put women at a certain place. And if you want to elevate yourself, you have to start elevating your conversation and the lingo that you use, which is why you guys don't hear me saying a whole bunch of slang. Slang went out of style a long time ago. They still try to program slang in us, but you know, so I've never been into that. I've always used the English language, but I'm frequency lowering things, you know what I'm saying? If I feel that you are beneath me, or if you feel that what you're doing is beneath what I do, then why would I sit and talk about it? Why would I even be interested in that? I mean, I think that even some of these rappers out here that you see, they probably go home and listen to classical music. They probably don't go home and listen to no rap music, you know? I like classical music actually. I listen to a lot of frequencies. I like music, but I think that people have to understand and start learning how to break stuff down instead of just accepting things at face value. So some music is a lot more creative in its use of words to where it will be an attention grabbing word that could be used, but it could be a totally different meaning. You know what I'm saying? That person can be making some kind of point, or maybe they could be referring to something else, but using, language and lingo that people can recognize as well. But I'm careful about the music that I listen to, especially since I got in my 30s. Some rap music, I can't listen to it at all. It's way too disrespectful towards women. So, that's kind of the reason why rap music changed a whole lot. But it's not just about music, it's about communication. What kind of conversations are you having? Are you having a conversation about, you know uh, just something, whatever it is, you know as long as it's interesting? But are you talking about like lower level stuff that only a low life would be talking about? That's what I'm saying. Okay, I finally got it out. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But you know what, Zybel? Things are changing. For example, I'm finally gonna be able to put Jacob in private school. I'm very excited about that. Um, and it's actually not that expensive. So, things are changing a whole lot, especially with everybody doing things out of the home. I know that here lately, the kids have been at home a lot. A lot of parents have been homeschooling, especially a lot of people have been working from home, especially with the corona. So, hold on. So, I think that when you have your children in your home more, they are less susceptible to certain peer pressures that they can connect to in school. And sometimes, these kids will run across a demon, and next thing you know, they on the school to prison pipeline. So you're right about that. But um, I know that back in the day they made a huge deal about rap music and the disrespect of women in it. And then rap started changing a whole lot, unless you got some underground rap. So there's many, many artists out there. People have the right to express themselves artistically however they want. But I'm just saying that for me, I would prefer to, stop using these words that have been added to the English language to, add confusion and chaos. You know what I'm saying? And then also value lowering words, for example, even if you are um, whatever, for me to even be talking about you, I'm lowering my vibrations, and the conversations that people are having are just, I don't know. It just seems like it's a little too trashy for me. Okay. Trashy conversation, um, calling women and men out of their names and stuff. This is an epiphany that I've been having. And I think that it's really strange because anger and those words usually come with it. And a lot of times that's what people want to do. They want to drive you to be angry. There's really no point in what they're doing. You're either going to be manipulative with some kind of higher order, or you're just going to be manipulative with some kind of other, lower reason. I know that I don't waste my time talking to or about anything that I don't care about. But if it gets to the point where the situation is way too, trashy or demeaning, I don't want to talk about it. There's far too many more interesting things to do and to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So, Kay Michelle and Summer Walker feel worthless. Do they, Isabel? Why you say that? I don't keep up with them. I don't even know who Summer Walker is. That's sad. Tamar Braxton and Lizzo are suicidal. Wow. Yeah. What's going on with Kay Michelle? See, I don't. That to me, a lot of those people, just to let you know, that are in Hollywood, sometimes they do kind of get into these soul contracts, and soul contracts can be very tricky, but it's almost like an entity will take over their body. Hey, Otter League. Yeah, it's like something will take over their body and their mind and stuff. And some of them can't handle it, and they be doing all kind of crazy stuff. So I know that whole Braxton family, boy, they seem like they got some, you know, definite struggles like anybody else. I don't. It does. Do they still have a show and stuff? Tamar Braxton. See, I don't. I haven't been watching the Braxton Family Values. Not what is it? Is it Braxton's Family Values? I think that's the name of it. I haven't been watching it. I try not to watch too much reality TV, um, because it's too scripted. They be following scripts and stuff. So, I don't know. It's not about trying to act high society because we know that they can be some of the biggest, like, the stuff that we be finding out that some folk be doing, or either allegedly what they may have done. So, um, I'm not saying that, but I feel like if you're referring to another person in that way, in a lowering way, in a sense, you are absolutely lowering yourself. And, that's why I try not to talk about folks too much because I realize that it definitely, to be in that energy and that spirit to where, it's a person that you feel is beneath you, or what they're talking about is beneath what you feel is valuable. So why even be discussing them at all? And then some things like, you know, some of the, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's all relevant, but it's certain lifestyles and stuff that I don't know anything about, that I've never involved myself in. And so why would I need to have a conversation that even involves that at all? Okay. So, I think that people should stick to the topics and that are relevant to them. Certain words I'm just gonna throw completely out of my dictionary. Okay. It's certain words that can be very um gender lowering for women. It can be gender lowering, you know. Um, except for the word, bitch. That's like another word for witch. Y'all know what that means, but talking about if somebody's being a bitch, then they're just being a bitch. But for me to sit and consistently have conversations about women in a disparaging way would totally make me sort of a hypocrite in that moment. And that energy is very weak. I don't like that. I don't like any energy that is weak. And if you are somebody that lives a different lifestyle or does something different than me, and we come from two different sides of a coin, then what the hell am I even talking about you or about any of that anyway? So, you know what I'm saying? But some words, I'm going to throw them out. I'm going to be using less of those words, like hoe, bitch, you know, any words that are disparaging, especially when it comes to women. But then also words like fag, and, I never even talked that way anyway. You know what I'm saying? Never did. Never did. I may have said a few cuss words, but that whole conversation is, in my opinion, beneath me. I don't know nothing about no, lifestyle of the streets. So why would I have a conversation about pimps and hoes? Why would I even be having that conversation? For what? Why would I even need to use those words ever? Why would they need to be in my vocabulary? Okay, your vocabulary is the list of words that you have in memory that you use. And I've been teaching Jacob that because, there's certain things that I don't know, I don't want said even around my children because I don't want them to have that kind of mentality, you know? So I don't know. Like, I guess people have different definitions to certain words or whatever, but for me, it's just not a conversation that I'm interested in having with anybody at any moment. And I wouldn't put my energy into it. You notice how sometimes you'll bring up certain topics in conversation to people and they kind of either change the subject or they don't give anything to the conversation. And it's probably because they're choosing not to be in that energy to where they'll just sit back and they'll just start listening. And, if you're expecting them to offer any input, they may respond very aloof, like, kind of like they're not interested in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I think that the words that we speak, it's not just your thought processes, but it's the things that you're saying, it's the things that you're talking about, it's the lingo that you're using. And spirits have really been replacing a lot of words for me, I've noticed. Um, and I started reading also, guys. I started reading again. I used to love to read all the time, just books. I love books. So, you know, I've got some books that I'm gonna order. A couple of people been telling me about good books to read. So if you guys have any, let me know. I know that a lot of people are doing the Audible books and stuff, which those are good too. Um, but it's something about reading, the words in a book, and so I've been kind of, you know, coming back, I think that I think that sometimes you can step into certain realities and it won't be a reality that you like too much, but you'll find yourself guilty by association, and I think that how you associate yourself with things, is based upon what you talk about, what your conversation is. And for me, I just don't want any association with certain stuff, That's where I'm feeling right now because I feel like a lot of that stuff just kind of, you know, I, I think that it lowers your vibrations to participate in that energy. That's just like if somebody called me a hoe, I'm not going to call them one back because I would be lowering myself to be using that word. And that's what that justice and the law of karma is all about. So, I think that we need to start thinking about that. And if you're in my circle, start understanding that a lot of this stuff, they're spells and they're sort of like made up words and things that will start to affect your brainwave activity, and you don't want to necessarily use those words. Does that make sense to y'all? I'm sure that I'm making sense. Okay. So I think I'm getting to a stopping point with my hair. I was gonna try to do more, but I got like almost like the yeah. So and I done got tired and sleepy. So I am gonna get some rest, y'all, because I've gotten to a stopping point in my hair. I'll see y'all later. I'll be braiding my hair for like the next few hours. But I'll still be able to come on here and multitask and braid at the same time. And sometimes I be doing y'all readings and stuff and braiding too. So if y'all need readings, um, you know, I'll be here because I got a feeling that some emergencies are gonna come up. But yeah, think about the words that you use, what you call other people. That's just like the saying where if a person, for me, instantly, and I don't know if this is like this to anybody else, but it seems like as soon as a person calls another person ugly, it just instantly makes them look ugly to me. It like lowers their look to me. And so I think that if you spend 10, 20, 30 years calling folks ugly, I think at some point it's going to start to show on you. So, certain words and stuff, you want to limit your use of, especially when it comes to curse words. You want to limit your use of that because those things are going to affect you. So, you know, anyway, y'all, I will see y'all later. I'm tired. Peace and love to y'all. Bye bye.